You don't invest in precious metals for a return in the traditional sense. You're not necessarily looking to sell them for more dollars than you bought them for. In truth, they're not even really an investment. They're money, and they are a store of value, pure and simple. And to understand the real reason to be getting into physical metals, you have to think a little outside the box because if you're like me and you were born after 1971, you have no first-hand experience with anything except for this global fiat dollar standard. And to understand why we all need to be stacking precious metals, you have to break the habit of thinking of everything priced in dollars. Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Thanks for tuning into today's video. If you get some value from it, please do give it a big thumbs up down below, and while you're at it, why not subscribe to the channel? For the record, the current paradigm where we always have inflation and the currency is constantly devalued and debt levels constantly increase and everything is backed by nothing but paper and fiat paper currencies and central banks are the driving force behind almost all market action is actually kind of unusual historically. For most of human history, the money actually was gold and silver, and prices over time in healthy economies tended to fall as productivity and wealth increased over time. And obviously, that is a bit of a generalization. Before the Industrial Revolution, of course, everyone was much poorer materially. And sure, there have been paper money experiments in inflation going back millennia, but there's never been one on the scale of what we have going on right now. Not even close. So I'm not stacking metals the way that I might buy stocks, for example. Someone buys a stock, they're hoping either one, to collect income in the form of dividends, or two, to sell for a dollar profit in the future. But precious metals, while it is possible that they might be sold for much higher dollar prices in the future, the real benefit is that they are a store of value that can outlast the dollar itself. They're basically insurance against a currency collapse, and the vast majority of investors out there probably don't even believe such an event to be possible. There's a lot of normalcy bias out there, the thought pattern, well, I've never witnessed a currency collapse, so I never will witness a currency collapse. And while clearly this is not entirely logical, this belief seems to guide many investors' behavior. But if you can break yourself from this kind of normalcy bias, and you can see that there is a real possibility of a dollar crisis, a debt crisis, an economic collapse, then you can begin to understand the real reason for holding precious metals. And to my mind, this mental feat should be a bit easier to accomplish after what we've witnessed over the past 2 years. If what happened to the economy in 2020 and the subsequent response from the government and the Federal Reserve didn't open your eyes to the economic reality before us, then I don't know what it's going to take. And while the current system and the dollar and the status quo might chug along for a while yet, they also might not. And if we get a real disruptive event, a war or a debt crisis or the creation of a rival world reserve currency, for example, or maybe even a real black swan event, the kind that you can't see coming, then there's a good chance that the current extremely fragile system just might collapse in on itself. And that's when it will be a really good time to have some silver and to have some gold. And it won't be a higher price in dollars that makes them worthwhile to have. Holders of real hard money will benefit in the sense that it is very likely in such a scenario that the price of other assets like real estate, businesses, stocks, even other commodities will plummet relative to gold and silver, the assets that have always been there for mankind to fall back on when fiat paper currencies fail. And folks, times like that are when fortunes are made, for those who are prepared. You've got to buy when there's blood in the streets, and if the dollar collapses, well, the streets are going to get awfully bloody. And I do want to say, none of this is financial advice. I am just sharing with you what I am doing. And, I don't sell precious metals. I am a stacker myself. I have some skin in the game. And today I have got a little bit more skin in the game because I just picked up this nice little box of bullion from Money Metals Exchange. And if you want to check them out, I've got a link down in the description. And let's take a look at this newest addition to the stack. All right. First off, I've got this nice little 10-ounce bar here, and if you've seen my videos in the past, you know I love 10-ounce silver bars. These are kind of like the $100 bills of bullion, although of course one of these is going to cost a lot more than $100 these days. But this is a Heraeus bar. They are a good for delivery LBMA bar manufacturer, so if you want to fulfill a futures contract, this bar would be appropriate to do that with, and that's not too important for your average stacker, but kind of a nice to have. And also, this is a very nice bar, even though it is just kind of a generic cast bar, has a really nice even surface, no real imperfections it looks like. And on the back, just, plain silver, but on the front, we've got the Heraeus logo. And then also, it is a serial numbered bar, so that's always an added benefit. So very happy with that. And one last thing about this bar that's nice is it is 4 nines fine, so very highly purified silver. Also, Money Metals was having this sale where they had what they call a silver starter kit, and they had it for what they called employee pricing. You could pick one up. And that comes with a half-ounce Walking Liberty round, a generic 1-ounce Walking Liberty round, so just kind of some nice generic silver. But also, you do get a silver eagle. Looks like they gave me a 2013 eagle, so they don't maybe even have the 2022 eagles to pop into these silver starter kits. And then a 2022 maple leaf. And I think I paid about $24 an ounce for this starter kit. It was 4 ounces of silver total, and I paid just under $100. So I'm okay with that, even though that does seem like kind of a high premium when the spot price is around 19. Still, you do get the eagle and the maple leaf, and the premiums on those are quite high at the moment. And then also you get some fractional silver. So in addition to that half-ounce round, you get another half-ounce of silver in the form of these 1/10-ounce rounds. And fractional silver also is one of those things that tends to carry a very high premium on it. And as a result, I don't have a lot of it, but this seemed like a good deal. I mean, it's slightly perhaps below market price when you factor in premiums, and not a bad way to stack up some coins like that. And then this is kind of a unique item, and I'd be interested to see the response to this video based on these, but I did pick up some Goldbacks. And if you're not familiar with Goldbacks, I put a video out about these a couple months ago that kind of goes into detail about what they are exactly and how they're made and what I perceive to be some of the benefits of them. But very interesting when I made that video, the response I got. This seems to be a highly polarizing item in the stacker community. And if you've never seen these before, just a brief overview. These are essentially gold notes that contain 1/1000th of an ounce of gold in each note. And they're flexible. They're made of gold that has been atomically layered on this polymer material. And they're actually very tough, very resilient. They're suitable for circulation. And they've got a lot of security features built right into them. They've got some patterns and things like that, which are hard to replicate. And they've got serial numbers. So, I'm sure counterfeits maybe are out there, but they're probably pretty easy to spot. And I don't know, I'm just a big fan of these. I think they're very cool. I wouldn't recommend, I don't make recommendations, of course, on this channel. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But I do not hold the majority of my gold in the form of Goldbacks or anything like that. But I do think that they're just a really unique form of bullion, and I do think that they have a place in everybody's stack. One of the things that folks seem to not like about the Goldbacks is the high premium you pay, and it is true. I paid about $3.50 for each one of these, which is about double the spot price of gold, even a little bit more, I guess, with the recent pullback. But the point is, when you buy these, you're going to pay about twice spot, so a high premium for sure. But if you think about it, with fractional gold, if you get something like a 1/10-ounce gold eagle, like this little coin right here, you're still going to pay a high premium. Maybe not double, but still a pretty high premium over spot. And one thing you don't get with this coin is the just extreme divisibility that you get with a Goldback. I mean, 1/1000th of a troy ounce, that is 2 orders of magnitude more divisible than a coin. So it kind of makes sense that they would have a high premium. And I don't worry about that because there's a really robust secondary market for these Goldbacks. You can go sell these. If you buy them in bulk, if you buy them in quantities of 50 or more, you could probably sell them for more than you buy them for. Right off the bat, if you go on eBay and put a listing up for them, I mean, just check out the sold listings on eBay. They're selling for typically $3.50 to $4. And so, if you're buying them for $3.50 each, it doesn't really concern me. I know that I could go right back onto the market and sell these basically for what I paid for them. So premium's not really too big of a deal for me. But again, I just think that they're kind of a neat item, and they're designed to be a circulating currency. And, while the chances that something like a Goldback might ever actually circulate in a big way, because it's true, they do actually circulate in parts of the country. I mean, I'm sure there's places where people are out spending these, using them as currency, but it hasn't reached widespread adoption. The vast majority of people probably don't know what the heck these are if they were to see them. So, the likelihood that that ever happens, that these ever become something like a circulating currency in the US, I think is probably low. But, if you were to ask me back in, say, 2019, what the likelihood of something like this circulating would be, and I would say extremely low, slim to none. And today, I think it's safe to say that that probability has at least risen from that time period. And, they're kind of a unique item, and I suppose there's always the possibility that these never catch on and they just are kind of a fad. And who knows, maybe Goldbacks, although I think they're a pretty successful company at this point, maybe they go out of business someday. But if that happens, I think these also have a tremendous possibility to appreciate as maybe some kind of a collectible. So I think either way, they're a nice addition to the stack. And who knows? I mean, it is possible that if we get something like a dollar collapse, like what I mentioned earlier in the video, something like this, might be the default currency for a while. Who knows? It's not necessarily likely, but I would say that it is certainly within the realm of possibilities. And 3 years ago, the likelihood was a lot lower than it is today. And 3 years in the future, maybe it will have become even more likely. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Why do you really stack gold and silver? Is it because you want insurance against a currency collapse? Because I think that's a very compelling reason. And certainly there may be some other reasons to stack. Maybe you want to leave some generational wealth behind. Maybe you are hoping to just flip your metal for a quick dollar profit. But let me know in the comments down below. I always love to hear what all of you have to say. And I will catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Smart Silver Stacker, out.